Hello everyone and welcome back to the Minimalist GM. I have some videos planned in the future about making different characters in Sword World 2.5, and today I want to talk about the character sheet. This is the official Sword World 2.5 character sheet, and as you can see there's a lot going on here. If you're like me, this is a very distracting sheet with a lot of nonsense going on. For instance, here's what the stats look like. There are 5 boxes here and only 2 of which are used during actual gameplay. This keeps your dice rolls from the character creation on the character sheet. And with a few newcomers that I've run the game for, they think that this character sheet is a little cluttered. On sheet 2 you can see that there's a lot of math going on. The formulas may be useful to somebody who's never played a TTRPG in general, but for me and other veterans that I've played with, the sheet is a little cluttered. Because of my grievances, I'll take you through my thought process on how I intend to fix this character sheet. And as always, these are my opinions, and if the official character sheet is what you prefer, there is nothing wrong with that. For starters, your base ability scores and correction are only used during character creation, so we can remove those. And growth is something that you roll at the end of each session, and as long as you remember that 1 through 6 refers to your dexterity, agility, strength, vitality, intelligence, and spirit, then this isn't really necessary since it's immediately applied to your ability scores. Next is the box for Monster Knowledge and Initiative. Monster Knowledge is already part of the Knowledge check package. As long as you pay attention as a GM and know what your players' classes are, you should know if they're able to add a bonus to the Monster Knowledge or even make Monster Knowledge checks at all. Initiative is only available to the Scout class, and Monster Knowledge is only available to the Rider and Sage classes, so those are things that you don't need to worry about. Accuracy and extra damage can be taken in the same way. If your players decide to not pay attention to what is leveling up in their accuracy and damage, that's their fault. But as a GM, you should be reminding them of what each class level up gets them if they forget. And finally, the power table at the bottom of the second page. Each weapon has its own power table attached to it anyway, and whenever a player rolls and doesn't know what the power table entails, then you should be able to look that up using your resources. That's just what I would remove, but what would I fix now? I would make sure that the information that's most important to the player to see at any given time should be up front and on the first page. Check packages, name, ability scores, race, race abilities, age, gender, HP, MP, fortitude, willpower, basically anything that's affected by a class, it's here. These are things that you'll need to see in and outside of combat, and it's easy to have one place where you can just see everything. So what about the other stuff? Let me show you the character sheet that I made, since this visual aid will make things a lot easier. Weapons, armor, accessories, and feats can all go on the same page. This makes the most sense to me because they're items that are either on your person or combat oriented. Inventory and consumable items can go on their own page. Since Sword World 2.5 does not have a limit to how many items your character can carry, it makes sense to me that players can get as much room as they need to list their items. Your background, or as I like to say, history, is a special place of its own. It gets plenty of room for your characters to write a little backstory for their character. On the same page, you have the appearance of your character and a character goal. If you're using the character creation book, then there's a space right here to write your bond with the other characters. And I like to add a little area in my character sheets for a quest spread. It's like a journal for your character. There's an area for quests, a calendar, a people spread, a small area for taking notes on your character's journey. If you think this is too many pages, that's because they're actually half-page size. 2 pages fit on one side of a landscape-oriented letter-size paper. So if you're just playing with the same way that the original character sheet looks, you can just have the first 2 pages on one sheet of paper, and then you can have the character and quest spread on the other side of the paper, and it is the more information with less fluff to look at. Let me show you what a filled character sheet looks like. Here is Sasha. She's a 27-year-old human, 2nd level adventurer. She only speaks and reads Common for now, but that should be able to speak, read, and write in Magitech as well, and 1 other language. On the sheet, one of the boxes is filled out, and the other remains empty for specific characteristics of classes. In this example, Monster Knowledge, Evocation, and Initiative bonuses are here, since these are the checks that Sasha would be making in combat. I have a feeling that these boxes will mostly be used by the minor other type classes, since they have the most amount of effects that go on your character sheet. She has a Matchlock, which doesn't have a power level since that's determined by the bullet spell used. She's wearing cloth armor and has all the necessary equipment for performing alchemy, evocations, and Magitech spells. The targeting feat is so that she doesn't accidentally hit an ally while aiming a ranged weapon. Nothing too serious with the inventory. The second page is left blank for whatever the player needs, like notes on spells, commonly used spells, additional notes for the character, or a character portrait if they really want it. The last page has all of the background information, appearance, bonds, and goals, as well as the quest spread. When I ran Sword World 2.5 at a convention in 2025, I used an even simpler character sheet based on the starter set character cards. The original character cards are fine on their own, but I wanted something that could fit on a 3x5 note card. It's somewhere between a fellow sheet and a simplified character sheet, since the class feats are not acknowledged on this card, and all items are limited on a separate card. In the future, when I make characters, I'll be using my simplified character sheet unless I'm prepping a character for a convention. I'll also provide a fellow of the character in case you want them to accompany your players in their adventures. Sword World 2.5 is owned by Group SNE and Kadokawa. Please support the official release, and thank you for watching.